The hurricane. The journey starts off the coast of Japan. Manjiro and his four friends go fishing in search of food for dinner. Once they are out in the water, Manjiro and his friends cannot find any fish in the water. They find this pretty suspicious. Then one of Manjiro's friends spots a huge splotch full of treacherous, stormy cumulonimbus clouds. They have paddled so far out that they cannot make their way back to shore. They start to make their way under the deck, but one of Manjiro's friends gets sucked under the obliterating waves. Since they have no time to look for his friend, they make their way under the antiquated deck just as the waves start to crush the side of the boat. Once they have taken shelter down below, they rest in peace. Once the horrendous weather passed, they wake up just to see that they're on the side of an island in the middle of nowhere. They start to yell out Manjiro's friend's name in an embellished way. After no luck, they just give up and go to bed for the night. They wake up in the morning to the most aggravating noise in the world, the sound of a horn being blown on a modern-day pirate ship. Pirates. In Japan, there are a lot of fairy tales and myths. One of the myths is that there are sea monsters out off the coast of Japan, including barbarians. If these combative creatures spot you out in the middle of the ocean, they will take you alive. Once Manjiro and his friends spot the repugnant, decrepit ship, they gasp in terror. As the captain of the ship, Mr. John Howland, yells at his crewmen in a strange language, Manjiro and his friends fear that these are dangerous monsters. Suddenly, Mr. Howland's crewmen get off the ship and capture Manjiro and his friends. Manjiro and his friends are now aghast. Now the journey really begins. Life on a pirate ship. As soon as Manjiro and his friends climb aboard the repugnant and decrepit pirate ship, they are given a dictionary to adapt to the language spoken by the pirates. Mr. Howland explains the rules and his expectations for them as newcomers on the ship. He tells them to study the words in the dictionary. He explains that they will have to work hard after they learn the words, lots of hard and debilitating work. Once Manjiro and his friends finally pick up a few English words, he asks Mr. Howland where they are headed. Mr. Howland responds that they are headed to Hawaii, one of his favorite islands. Manjiro responds, "Where is Hawaii?" Mr. Howland hands Manjiro a map, teaches him how to use a map, and points to Hawaii on the map. Manjiro then asks Mr. Howland if they can go to Japan while en route to Hawaii. Mr. Howland responded quickly and said no. He explained that they cannot return to Japan because he had been to Japan before and believed that if they returned to Japan, they would be killed. Mr. Howland stated he would not sacrifice himself or his crewmen for the sake of returning Manjiro to Japan. While Manjiro appeared to be adjusting to his new life on a pirate ship, the same could not be said for his friends. Manjiro's friends still thought that the pirates were distasteful and threatening and believed that they were monsters capable of eating them. They remained alert and waited for a good time to abandon ship and flee from the pirates. Hawaii. As soon as the John Howland rests in the shallow waters of Hawaii, Manjiro runs down off the boat waiting to explore the new world. On the other hand, Manjiro's friends have secretly snaked off the ship to take another ship back home to Japan. Since Captain Howland felt like Manjiro was his son, he asked Manjiro if he can stay home in his house. Manjiro responded and said that would be delightful. Manjiro then got escorted by Hawaii residents to Manjiro's new home. As soon as Manjiro walked inside the small house, he was greeted by Mrs. Howland. She welcomed him with warm hot cocoa. Manjiro then went to bed for the night. In the morning, Manjiro went to an academy in Hawaii. The teachers there taught him how to read and write. Since Manjiro was 17, he went to high school for his senior year. On the first day of high school, Manjiro fell in love with a little girl. He also met a very selfish and unpopular bully named Tom. Since the girl Manjiro fell in love with was Tom's girlfriend, Tom got really mad and challenged Manjiro to a horse race. Manjiro won the race. Tom never bothered him again. Once Manjiro graduated high school, he then paid for a ticket on a year-long boat ride back to Japan. Once Manjiro got back to Japan, he encountered an umpire who asked him some questions. Once they were done, one of the umpires told Manjiro that he had a heart of a true samurai. After their talk, Manjiro went back home and reunited with his mom and his sister. He never left Japan again.